Wow. Guys, in this video from WLToys, we have got this brand new 1/18 scale brushless buggy. Finally, a replacement for the A959 that has been around. The earliest video I could find on YouTube of this was, I think it was like mid 2016. I think I got one, and you can get one with a smaller motor as well. I got around 2018, I think. So it's been around a while. So until now, we've not had a replacement for the little 1/18 scale. The 14th scale kind of knocked this one off the map. This is my speed run one, so not completely stock with foam tyres and stuff, but the 144001, I think this came out in around 2019, took the top spot away from this. And what was good about the A959, the B version, which is this one, had a massive 550 motor, and I think it done about 30, even 35 miles an hour. And at the time, it only cost around, I think it was £35 in the UK, which would have been about $40, $45. So for not a lot of money, you were getting a really fast, completely uncontrollable with that short wheelbase, but loads of fun, relatively tough, oil shocks. You were getting a lot of buggy, and that's why it was so popular. However, that is now double the price from what I've seen, so not really a good deal. When the 14th scale came out, again, it was a really good price. It wasn't a lot more than that, and it would do 30 odd mile an hour. This time though, it had big bore alloy shocks, metal chassis, fully adjustable camber and tow, and you could make them go really fast. Oh, front flip. They then one-upped with a 112 scale. It came out brushed first, and then this is the brushless version. They messed up on the first brushless one, and it was over-geared. The V2's way better. That's the only disappointing thing out of all these buggies, was when the 112 scale was over-geared. Other than that, WLToys have really offered some decent, affordable buggies that are fast and relatively tough. Something that WLToys have been good at, straight out the box, they're able to get their suspension set up relatively well. This one, however, we need to look at that. Anyway, there's a new kid in town, a replacement for the A959, and as you'll see, it is the same wheelbase. In fact, they share the same tyres, different wheels though. It looks like they've skipped the brush version this time. The 144 came brushed first, then brushless a lot later on. I've got one somewhere. And the 124s, they came brushed first and then brushless. They probably made a good decision going straight to brushless. However, it's now pushed the price up even more. If they were able to bring a brushed version of this out and price it, I don't know, around $70, I think that would be pretty good. Anyway, let's have a closer look. In the box you get a set of instructions, a wheel wrench and a USB charger. You get their standard transmitter. These have a good range. Again, the version 1s that came out with the 124, rubbish range. These are much better, and I like these ones. They fit nicely in the hand. So if you buy it for someone who's relatively new to the hobby, you can turn it down. You've also got steering trim. Comes with a little 2-cell LiPo. That is properly squeezed in there. Look, that's lifting that centre bit up. 1500 milliamp hour. I'm going to go and put that on charge now. So underneath we have a 2845 brushless motor. I think it's 3400 kV, 35 amp brushless ESC, separate receiver. That's what I like about these ones. It's all separate electronics, so it's hobby grade. You've got a little cap pack there for your ESC. And then under there is a little micro 3-wire servo. Fully adjustable tow, fully adjustable camber on the front, fully adjustable camber on the rear. Metal dog bone drive shafts on the back, metal CVDs on the front. These have metal gears. There's a red alloy drive shaft through the centre there, 4-wheel drive. Little metal chassis, and some cool looking wheels. Bent wing. The 14th and the 12 scale, they're kind of clones of LC Racing. I don't think LC Racing do an 18th scale, so that might be a first for WLToys. So it's got little oil shocks. We need to open one of them up because I don't like how they feel at the moment. And something I've noticed, that is quite a small detail, but in the bottom arms, you've got little holes there, so you can put droop screws in. The bigger brothers have them. That means you can lower the ride height. So if anyone's thinking about doing some speed builds with this thing, it's ready to go. Shock towers on these are metal. Shock towers on this are plastic. Right, while the battery's charging, I'm going to check that suspension out. So no oil in them. Now that's good news. It's not good news for those that just want to get this straight out of the box and run it, but it's good news for me because it means that suspension is going to be way better once I put some oil in. I think 500 CST. So if you've never done shocks before, it's relatively easy. Remove the shock, then just take the spring off, undo the top cap. Then underneath there should be like it's called a diaphragm or a bladder. Remove that, then put some shock oil. I used 500 CST, seems about right for this. Give the shock a few pumps and then put your bladder back on. Put the shock back on, adjust your spring rate to where you want it, and then you should be all done. And there you go. Much better now. It's still a bit chassis slappy, but it feels so much nicer. It's not bouncing anymore. And if you were wondering, it's a 12mm hex, which obviously means you can fit some contact foams for your speed rides. I reckon 75 plus kilometers an hour. Battery's charged. Throw a GPS on and see how fast it is. So 75 kilometers an hour. That's 46 mile an hour. Certainly got some poke. Is it lifting them front wheels? It's pulling a little wheelie. Yeah, that is a bold claim. Will that be their fastest? If this does that 75, is this the fastest they've made? I can't remember. I think it's going to do about, I don't know, high 30s. We might get just into the 40s if we can keep it straight. Let's go. Right, that's full throttle. That's moving. That is certainly shifting. Full throttle again. Nice. It's a little bit more controllable than I thought. Wow. I'm impressed that you can keep this one pinned. Wow. This is definitely the craziest they've made so far. Right. Here we go. Wow. I think that's the fastest WLToys out the box. It's got to be. It isn't 75, but 70 kilometers an hour. Nice. This thing's so crazy. It's uncontrollable in this sort of circuit. Well, actually, I don't know. It's not too bad. It's not too bad, actually. But it is certified crazy. So much grip. Look at it. I'm not sure I've had anything as erratic as this on this surface. Oh. This is definitely their fastest. I'm talking straight out of the box, you know, 2S. I might have to do some slow motion just to capture it. This might give you an idea of speed. It's really well planted as well. When you're flat, that's full throttle. I'm so impressed. Full throttle again. It just wants to keep going. Oh, that was a big crash. I'm kind of lost for words with this thing. I wasn't expecting it to handle as well with that short wheelbase. I thought it's going to be really hard to control. It's going to be all over the place. Apart from on loose gravel and dirt, it's solid. Absolutely solid. And I lost count of how many times I hit like a little rut in the grass and it barrel rolled about 50 times. One shock popped off and they literally push on like that. I don't know what to say. The only thing I'm going to say, it's going to be an issue for some that the shocks don't come with oil in, because not everyone's got oil, not everyone knows how to do stuff like that. So that is definitely something that needs to be looked into. They should really have oil in them. I know sometimes if they're sat around they can leak, but if someone's going to get this out of the box and want to use it straight away, you shouldn't have to put oil in. I forgot to mention I raised the shocks up to the top point as well, just to bring the front down a bit, because it was sitting a bit lower at the back. So I raised them up a bit. And the other thing, it's quite expensive, but man, it's so fast. Loads of fun. You probably heard the amount of laughing I was doing. I love it. I think it's probably going to be my favourite.